Good evening, everyone. This is the Select Board Water Commissioner meeting for Monday, July 22nd, 2024. On the agenda tonight, we got under old business, Vasa Trail signs for town highways. We've got the sewer repair and extension project, Gristmill Park fence removal quote. Under new business, we've got the Regional Public Safety Advisory Committee, Highway Department report, Town Administrator's report. Need to approve the minutes from the June 24th meeting. Approve some road cut permits, sign some payroll warrants, sign some fleet permits. Get a letter here from Franklin County Field Days that they would like us to endorse their next step there. Do that at the end, and anything else we need to add?
There was that letter from the state about the bridge right away.
Oh yeah, I got a copy of it.
I made a copy of it too, it's in the bottom.
Yeah, I see that, so we're good with that. So the bridge right away, highway right away down that street, and water field days. Anything else we need to add?
No.
Alright, we might as well jump right into those Vasa Trail signs, I guess.
Alright, my name is Brian, I'm from Northwestern Mile Wheelers, Vasa. I want to see if we can hang Vasa signs so people know where to go and where not to go. And I know I brought a copy of the ordinance for Swan and Highgate and Enosburg. But I guess you guys didn't quite know what was going on or something.
Okay. What's going on right up there?
No, I'm sorry, we can share.
So you're looking to connect like the towns and
Yeah, like right now I'm waiting for the permit for 105 to come up Fairfield Pond Road. And we can, what is that, Sweet Hollow?
Yep.
Over to Shawville.
Yep.
Up Pond Road to Sheldon Woods. And then down the main street.
But you can't go all the way up Pond Road. It's Fairfield. Fairfield's not open.
Right, but isn't Shawville, or not Shawville, but Sheldon Woods? Isn't that swamping all the way up to there?
no, you gotta go through Fairfield.
Oh, okay. Well, and anyways, we still have Sweet Hollow Road. And then, what's the other one? Well, I know when you come up Woods Hill, you got that little section over there. Because all of Sheldon is open, right?
Correct.
So basically just so people know where they're going without going down dead end roads to turn around. You know what I mean? They can follow the signs to get them to Enosburg and Franklin. And
So what's the advantage for us to build to have signage? If all of our roads are open and they can't read a dead end sign that says the road's dead end?
well, the advantage is for the Vasa members so they know where they're going. So they don't just, hit this road, next thing you know, they're in Fairfield. They know they need to turn.
So does the signage bring like coverage, like police coverage or anything, or we just?
Good luck.
I'm just saying you want signage to be us to put it up to all these people that have this mapping system.
Oh no, I'll put the sign up.
I understand that, but the signage is gonna come up and they're gonna be able to get onto their ATVs and they're gonna have this, they're gonna be able to download the app and see where all the trails are open.
Right.
So we're gonna increase traffic from outsiders,
Basically, I think we basically have about the same amount of traffic. Because most people, when they take off, they head over the mountain where they get to play in the woods and stuff. But these trails here would just get them on a legal trail to get over the mountain.
Well, that's part of the trouble with Sheldon. There's nowhere you can go where you can legally get to the trail. I mean, you can go like East Sheldon Road down through, but there's all these state highways you have to travel on to get to them, so.
Anything that the state plows, you can't drive on, unless you have a permit. But anything a town plows is open.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm saying that all the roads in Sheldon, there's no, unless you leave right from in Sheldon, you can't get there from here without going on state roads.
You can't get from Sweet Hollow to Main Street legally.
Sweet Hollow.
Because you gotta go through Fairfield.
Fairfield's on
Or
Sweet
you gotta come on to 105 and go down state road.
Even if you were to cross onto Shawville Road, you can't get from Shawville Road to this side of town. There's no way to get to Main Street from Sweet Hollow.
Basically, the main,
No, yeah, I see what you're saying.
the main reason we did the ordinance is for local people to get, you know,
Right.
be able to drive through the other end of town or whatever.
Right.
But, I mean, you can get from here, you can get to Enosburg, you know, but we're surrounded by Fairfield. Is Highgate open there, some of their roads?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, because it used to be, but anyways,
Yeah, Highgate.
all the, you know, there's too many state highways you gotta ride down to.
Yeah, well, Highgate, I have the, like, Frontage Road, Carter Hill, Coppenell Road, going around the back to get into Franklin. On the 20th of June, we had a meeting to open the whole town, but we already had some kids up there with their four-wheelers, and so that's on hold for another year.
Yeah.
But the sheriff's department is, you know, watching those areas. But, I mean, we only have so much money to pay for,
Right.
you know, patrol. And if they patrol it, they patrol it. If they don't, they say they do, and we pay them anyways. That means I gotta go to Fairfield and see if I can get that little section open.
I wish you luck.
That's what I've been told.
I mean, even if we were to put signage up, you can't get from Swanton to Sheldon without crossing some kind, I mean, even if you did cross a little bit of 105 off the Ends Road to Pond Road, the rest of it you can't get to where you need to get to because you either
Right, that's just
town,
gonna circle us back over.
the town or the state highway. There's no way to get there, you know. There's no trail, there's no means of getting the rest of the way.
So do you know who owns the property right past the graveyard? Because I know when you go up past the graveyard, there's a trail that goes up over.
Which graveyard are you speaking
The
of?
one on Sheldon there.
Bobby Tag's house, what is it? I think that's what he's talking about. Yeah, I think that's what he's talking about.
Because I know Kim in the office, she wanted me to see if we can get a trail from there over to like Turkey's store. But I don't know who owns the property.
There you go.
I don't own anything near Derby store.
I mean, Durkee's would be the main owner to
Yeah.
let you get a trail through, and then I'm not sure who the other people are.
Is that a little up towards the old news colony, I guess? So if we got a trail that went that way, that would be legal then, right?
You can't get to Port Farm Road.
No, you can't get to Port Farm Road
Yeah,
from
down.
going down 105. You'd have to get a trail that came either all the way to Sweet Hollow, or you got another okay to go down 105 again. So
Yeah, but when you come down by the paper mill, can't you take that, you can go straight to Shawville or take a left up to that little store on the triangle?
and then you still gotta cross 105, you gotta drive.
Right, yeah, I'd have to get a permit for that little section.
Yeah.
I don't know, we're just trying to
Yeah.
make a road.
Yeah. Yeah. My personal stance is if we opened it up to the outside, I think we're introducing a lot more traffic and headaches than we're wanting to put up with, but that's my personal stance. The roads are open, every road marked with a dead end, and I guess maybe if they're gonna start from Swanton or vice versa, they should maybe do a little research, so, but that's my personal opinion.
Right,
Because you can't get there from here.
right. And that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Well, I guess maybe if you can, make some connections there where you can get from here to there, you could come back to us and see, and we could let you put some signage up on the roads that are gonna take you somewhere, but
Okay.
right now, there's not a lot of places that'll take you legally, And I don't, they right down the roads, but we don't want to have trails saying, this way to Enosburg when you gotta ride down the state highway to get there.
Right.
That kind of stuff, we don't want to be responsible for that. When somebody gets pulled over and they say, well, hey, the sign said go that way.
Yeah.
But if you get some trails that go somewhere, I guess you come back to us and we'll consider looking at it.
Okay, how far down Sheldon Woods is Sheldon before you hit Fairfield?
Just at the top of the hill.
Top of the hill,
Or Hatterick's,
yeah,
repair is there.
Yeah.
There's
there's
They
a,
have a
You drive
small,
up there right now.
small engine repair shop there. That's the first place in Fairfield. That's,
Yeah, right
It's
there.
pretty close.
yeah.
It's right there, he's showing you on the map.
Not too far.
And then just past the quarry on the other end is where Fairfield starts.
That's where Fairfield starts. Okay.
You got probably 6 miles, 5 miles, plus or minus.
My luck is always plus.
10 minus, okay?
Yeah. All right then. Yeah, I'll see what I can do and come back.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Good luck.
Thank you.
alright, Hilbert, you want to give us a rundown on the sewer repair and stuff?
They came in and cambered that from the post office down to the rail trail, and they couldn't get through, down or up.
But they could come from down below, from the,
Rail trail?
no, from the sewer house back up, they could come?
They didn't do that, we ran out of time. We did School Street.
Yeah.
It looks like where it backed up there a year ago, 2 years ago, looks like there's a manhole in there that's collapsed or done something, and we couldn't find it. I don't know, because there's 2 wooden fences right over the top of where it is. Yeah, if we start digging, we're gonna have to be repairing fences and whatnot, but probably gonna have to. So there was that spot there, then we cambered it across 105 and stopped there because we never had a problem down. Then we went to the post office and they cambered that down as far as they could. Then they jetted it, couldn't get through with either one. So then they went down to the rail trail and tried coming up, and same thing, they couldn't get through. So there's something in the middle.
Did they get, you think they got to
I don't think
one
they got-
way, or
they weren't that
more
close
than
to each
one
other.
way? No, they weren't.
You can see where the clay tiles separating collapsed down in clear view of the camera, and he backed it off there and he couldn't get through the header.
On the old wastewater map down there, that's the only section that they never replaced the pipe, so it's probably clay pipe in there.
What's on either end of that clay?
8-inch,
Cement line.
yeah, cement. And then they went down to, in the hill to come back up, to go to Board House.
Yep.
And they couldn't get between the manhole that's behind the trailers to the corner that turns, goes up across the road up. There's something in between there that, same thing there.
And that's the other spot you have.
Yeah.
What was the material for in there? Was that clay or not?
You mean coming out? Oh, the pipe?
Yeah, the pipe in there.
I don't know. I would say
I think that one was, it was 6-inch clay.
it could be clay, yeah. Because from that manhole behind the trailers up to Borden House is all old pipe. So that's another section that they never. So,
And from that manhole down to the treatment plant, that's newer though?
yes,
Yes.
yeah.
Newer as in what year?
76s or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's classic.
Yeah.
So I think probably the thing to do is repair that on Mill Street. Get some estimates from somebody. I don't believe we have to have it engineered. Probably be a good idea to check with somebody from the state.
I think that area of the line is included in that estimate there, according to the, I printed out a smaller version of the plans here. I'll bring it over for you guys here. These are the sewer repair plans that Phelps, which is now Potter Creek, drew up in 2013. So this is a section of Mill Street. So this would be, this is Todd Dairy's house right here. So the post office is here, and the rail trail crossing is here, right here. Yeah. So, and I believe so. I assume that this is a plan to replace the sewer line all the way here, and then there are two different alternatives for an extension over to 105. One using Shawville Road and the other using the right of way that the Catholic Church owns through here. Yeah. But
So on this Mill Street project, those manholes are alright, you just need the pipe in between, or?
It needs a manhole halfway between the two because it's already there. Because it's way too far for our rod that we have, and it's quite a distance,
Yeah.
you know, between the two.
I should have marked it, but yeah, you can kind of see on there that it's a little ways from.
The manhole would go,
Oh, probably about by Todd, just above Todd's garage.
There's just a manhole in here, and then there's the other one is back here at the post office, so it would have to go, yeah, and this is where Todd's house is, Todd's garage is right there, which is essentially halfway, yeah.
The other thing is we'd have, whoever's doing it, they're gonna have to pump sewage. Come out.
put light lights on the side line for a while.
Yep. They might be able to back it up for an hour or so, you know, maybe more, I don't know, but I think if they picked a spot that they planned that they could get to from the lower end, they could start pumping it around till they got to there and join it, or let it run in the pipe or whatever they. Then do the same thing the next day, make another jump.
What else is under there?
On that side, there shouldn't be anything. Gas is off the blacktop on that side, water's on the other side. We got water crossing to them houses,
Yeah. But
you know.
It's not that deep, it's not as deep as this.
No, no.
how deep is that sewer line?
I would say at least 6 feet. That manhole's pretty deep right here by the rail trail. Same thing up by the post office. I'd say they're well 6 feet.
That man was talking? That one goes that way?
Where's that one that goes up to Borden House, the fire station here?
That one there is going to be,
Or is it down here? Is it below Shawville Road or?
That is Shawville Road.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
Where is
it's
it?
going to be down in here,
Down in here,
somewhere.
that
It
goes
comes
up.
across.
Used to hit these old houses there.
Yeah, and they all used to drop down into that, so they put a manhole in here. They went over and hit a Mills square that they used to pump steam and pipes, there all used to be pipes and stuff. And then that goes up to the back side of the houses on Boardman House. And then they got new manholes up through there, so.
So it's
It's
bad
like,
up in here.
it's between right in here, between this manhole that comes from the road over,
Yeah.
okay, from this manhole over to the Mills. This is all in big cottonwood. And, I don't know, did you check with it, Matt, to see if the mill was gonna do?
I have not called them about that yet,
Okay.
whether we
Because
were
the guys told me that they were gonna put a water retention runoff pond or something in there.
So they might have to take those trees
They don't
down.
have to take all the trees down. Better off let them do it. Yeah.
Okay, so you'll find out about
Yes, I can
trees
ask.
and timeline on that.
Other than that, I went, you know, I know I got a big bucket of roots down there when they jetted it.
Yeah,
That came in.
and loosen some stuff up. Alright, now the other extension there, what's the thoughts on that?
Well, to me, there's two ways. They can either go one way, go over to 105.
Yeah,
You can either continue past the church parking lot, right over and tie into the line. But the church has a manhole on the further side of the church that ties into the main line. Can we show the church on there?
Yes, it does, yeah.
That one?
We're just gonna repair ours, so it's taking too long for this process.
You guys can sell that place right?
So you can either come right down 105 and over the
Oh, so it was making a
to
garage in apartments or something.
Well, we set it up so we could do that if we wanted to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right here's the church. So the church has
Yeah,
Washing into
a
it.
manhole right here somewhere.
Should really get good money for that place. It seems
It's just off the back of the church.
I want to
And that
have one
was-
market in April.
Uh,
Now I'm
I think
thinking
we're
in the
both-
bottom.
And that's where their stuff goes in now.
That's what?
That's where theirs runs in now, is through that manhole.
that line big enough.
Yeah, that I don't know. Carry what? I never knew until just recently that there was a manhole there. I thought the Ellis just ran right in
the
there.
house the other day. It was
Yeah.
just big.
And then these other ones up there, of course, they're gonna have service lines and the sewer bill and the kitchen. So yeah, you know, either just go to 105 or not do any, or
Every time the kids come
go
over,
just
they
to the
say,
other
"Kitchen,"
side.
So there's four of
I
them.
think this is
Yeah.
where they were talking about.
That's what made their road.
Yeah,
I guess you
yeah,
guys
yeah.
are, they were in here last fall. Just, yeah. Even they when we went into it.
Doing something different over there.
Wrapping up around the other
Yeah.
side.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you could get a commitment from at some point, some sort. Because the sewer plant is rated for 54,000 gallons a day. And we're only taking in 18 most of the time, if that, during the summer. During the winter and stuff, fall, spring, it gets up to around 20. So there's still,
Capacity.
yeah. So there's still quite a bit of capacity left.
Yeah. I think we probably, what you guys are thinking, but I think we need to get some solid numbers on Mill Street, get that in the works, find out if you need any engineering done on that, or if we can just hire a company do it. And, that's the most important thing, and then I guess we'll figure out another.
Did they go to the last DRB?
What's that?
Did they go to the DRB meeting if they spoke with us?
They have, the DRB hasn't had a meeting since we spoke with them, so, they will have a meeting in August, so, I suppose that may come up. Just to, circle back to Minosh, as Hubert mentioned, wasn't able to do, Boarding House Street or, further down towards the sewer plant, so we have a kind of invitation to them to come back anytime that they've got a half day scheduled somewhere nearby, to have them drop by and to finish that.
Okay.
But I haven't heard any response back from them on that, but just probably means nothing's come up yet.
So, Hubert, if there's a manhole back at church and this project doesn't go through Sheldon Road, is there any possibility of doing like a force main for these guys to pump it down to that manhole at the church? Or is that,
Yeah, I get it, you know.
is that probably
The church owns right behind, right, they have a right of way left. Right?
Yes, that's what that other,
The other one is.
But even if you went down,
So they could actually go down and pump behind her house and the other little house, you know, to get those two places there over to that manhole.
I'm just
No,
curious without, if it's gonna take, 2-3 years before that other project goes through, is there any other options for sewer line?
Well, this is not why I'm here today, but as of right now, I think our whole plan is we're going to repair our sewer because we want to double sell our house in the next couple months, and after 2 years of this going on, we're not gonna do it. So, we might not even need it, it might be the new people that might want it.
that's the whole thing with that Childville Road is it's all possible.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing.
But it's a big
says-
project to do for, if we're not guaranteed we're gonna get, a bunch of houses on the other side of the road, is,
Yeah.
that's a lot of money to spend on sewer to
Yeah.
not use it.
Yeah.
2 years ago, we would put 2 houses on it, definitely, but now we might not have 2 houses there.
I think the thing is, like you said, get some numbers, actual numbers on Mill Street.
Yeah.
That'll be a start.
So are you leaning not to have an engineer draw it up and send it out to bid, and just have a contractor do it, or?
I don't know, if it's a straight line down through there, just need a manhole in the middle.
Yeah.
But I guess it's see what the requirements are, if we need it.
yeah, well, Hubert knows this better than I do, but I think it's, you said it's 600 feet, anything beyond that.
No, that's water.
Or water, oh, I
Water.
see, water, oh, I see, sewer.
Sewer.
Okay.
I thought it had to be engineered, and I talked to one state guy, and he said, no, or I guess it was Vermont Rural Water, and said, no, you don't have to have sewer engineered. So, but I think I still would check with the state. Yeah, just to be sure.
My personally, I'd rather have it engineered and then they assume responsibility, and we don't. That's
Right.
my.
Right, that is,
If there's drawings and then they have to meet all that and.
And the thing is, these guys have already engineered it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if they've got the preliminary or all around, it probably wouldn't
Yeah.
be too much work for them to get it, engineer designed to.
I guess I have to ask so we had the, Otter Creek prepared that estimate for us based on what they did down in
Well,
Pittsburgh.
Phelps did it
Right,
first.
did they? Okay, right, they did
Yeah.
the engineering, right,
Yeah, and then Otter Creek
Is the.
got their
Yeah, right.
paperwork.
Right, But I'm just saying, in May, we got an estimate from them based on that project down in
We
Pittsburgh.
did get an estimate, but it was
More like a,
not a good one.
Yeah.
They're trying to take it off another town that was doing about the same length
Right.
of pipe, but that was earlier in the year. Maybe things, who knows, somebody might be looking for work, willing to do it.
I know that Swanton's doing a sewer extension in there.
But
Estimate was-
Enosburg is too.
Right, well, I know in the case of Swanton that their estimate was woefully small compared to what they actually spent. It was like more than $1 million. The difference, if I remember. Now, I think it's a bigger project that we're talking about here, but anyway, it's an estimate, so we gotta check that. For what
I
it is.
think Munson's in Enosburg, right, doing.
Correct, yeah, I think that is who doing work. Yeah.
Maybe some of the guys wouldn't even wanna do it.
Okay. Let's see what I can do.
Okay. So Pam, you had something else you want to share with us?
I just want you to approve my driveway.
It's in the,
We were told we had it done, so.
it's in the one that said road cut. I made copies for everybody.
So you checked it all out?
Yeah, I talked to Tom, it's all set.
Okay. No culvert needed? See if that one, Alright, that's through. There's some more here.
Yeah, there's another for Mark St. Pierre, down on the Swamp Road.
Alright, so leave me in.
no,
Yeah, you're welcome.
That one is gonna require a culvert.
have you looked at that one?
Yeah, it needs the ditches are pretty good, depth on either side of that class 4 road. And, so I had them go ahead and put a 24-inch culvert in. Hopefully that's the plan, because I know on the driveways on Cattell Road, they're a little undersized, and with all the silt and runoff, they've already been like half, 3/4 plugged up, and we've already been up there to dig them out on one end or the other.
So how far down is this?
That's gonna be the lower one. It's right across from Tony Churchill's driveway, which is just on the other side of that little knob.
Oh,
You know where? And then there's gonna be another driveway with, there's already the existing driveway, and there's gonna be 2 more houses in the plan up above.
how's things going in the highway department?
Good. Been training and pretty much caught up on most stuff right now.
Has a second new employee started yet?
No.
No?
No, he had a drug test last Thursday morning, and I haven't received the results of that yet, so I talked to him about it this morning, I said, as soon as I get it, I'll call him, but it sounded like, if I get it this week, he'll probably start on Monday.
Good.
Which I assume I'll get it this week, so. So,
Did he reach out to you at all? Do you know who he is?
I haven't spoken with him yet. Hunter's more familiar with him than I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sheldon resident, so he has a CDO, so.
Yeah. Kind of win-win. Are you happy with the roadside mowing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
guy did do a good job. He took his time. He did lecture in what he needed to, a few spots.
yeah, I think the town line sign on Central Street is missing, so I think Fairfield got a few hundred yards of free mowing from us, but anyway.
Oh, it's always nice to help your neighbors sometimes, you know.
Yeah. But he called me pretty much every day, telling me where he was going and what he asked me, you want to do this road, you want to do that road? Try to tell him where to go.
Yeah, he knocked it out in like 5 days or so.
Yeah, basically took him 1 week.
They like finished paving Church Street today, this morning, as scheduled for like the second time, so
Yeah.
they'll probably be submitting us a hefty bill for that. They did a good job, I think, this year. All the transitions and shoulders and driveways look good.
We did have that issue where I think they ended up paving in the States right away in a couple of cases there, which was annoying because the state's going to pave it all next year. 105, but anyway, we'll do better about communicating with them next time about that.
I spoke with Joe about that. I told him I wasn't too impressed because they were trying. It was the week of 4th of July, so they were trying to get it done in 3 days, and on top of it, it cost us probably like a load of asphalt. I've never seen them do that before.
And one thing I mentioned to Matt today, and when Seth got in here talking about, is seeing about possibly moving the stop sign at the top of Woods Hill. Because now that they've made that all grass space, you're like, you're stopping way back. It'd be nice to go another 40 feet probably forward to get closer to the edge of 105 and not being, I mean, before you had to because of everything that was going on there, and you couldn't put a sign in the middle of pavement, so.
Yeah, we'll look into that as soon as possible.
Just, and it'd be nice to, especially if they're gonna line shape and whatever else, if we can add it further up, it'd be great, convenience wise, so. But I actually stop there instead of stopping there.
Yeah, because there's a lot of non-resident traffic on that road now, so.
I know, we talked last week about, Seth and I talked one thing, we went out to Norma Luke's property out there on the frontage road because she had a sinkhole developed there, and we put a fence around it, but I called the rail trail about it because I think it's in their right of way in ours. So they were supposed to go out and look at it today, so I don't know. We'll see what happens there.
At the start of frontage or?
Right,
more
no,
towards-
at the very end,
Yeah.
right where that pond is. Right.
Did you ever find any meeting minute?
I found this, so I did, and the meeting minutes make it very clear that you wanted to avoid owning that culvert. That was the whole point. And then it makes reference to a map that has different, or then I found the agreement that you guys signed with the state about that, and it makes reference to a survey map and there being different colors of shading, kind of, to say like, we want the gray part, not the dark gray part, but I can't find that map to tell what the agreement's talking about, so anyway, then I told the rail trail about it, and I said, and I sent them all the documentation. I said, I'm pretty sure our intent was to not have this problem, which this is exactly what we wanted to avoid. So I'm hoping that they'll just take my word for it. Anyway, sorry, I shouldn't say. But we'll see what they say about it. And anyway, I just wanted, second I went and did that. And the other, we talked a bit this week about the salt shed again, and I looked at a couple of, unfortunately the state had a program for doing that was last winter. Some towns did it. I think Milton got a grant for that. They did a big project where they were doing the sand and salt shed all in one, and so it was a multi-million-dollar thing. And I don't know if that grant program's open again. It wasn't. They submitted the applications for it back in December, so, and the grant wasn't awarded until April. So even if that grant's available in the future, which I haven't seen any announcements about it, I'm not sure that thing's gonna last that long. We might want to just try to get something up.
Can we get one
sooner? But there's, I mean, other towns like
I know we keep saying that to yourself.
Right.
Can we get one where you're like,
I know other towns have, you know, Fairfield, other towns have just decided to do something by themselves, and there are, we looked at a couple of different designs. You can build basically get some bunker forms basically, and then kind of put a clear span building over it. That's one way some people do it. Or you can kind of do the same, you can have a concrete foundation and then build a, you know, timber, stick frame, you know, rafters over it or whatever. We've already talked about what dimensions we'd like to have for it, and we probably would tear down the lean-to that's on the side of the garage now, just because most of those things could probably be stored in the fire department end of it, and that structure is not much better than the salt shed in terms of structure. But Seth would kind of like to have that oriented on an angle, because our dirt pile is kind of here, and in order to get to the salt shed, if you had it parallel to the garage, you might not be able to get into it. So he's thinking more of putting it on an angle and then in the area that would be between the garage and the salt shed, maybe we could talk about, but not, we discussed, you know, an animal kennel or something like that. I thought that might be a good way to do it. But
kind of what you're talking for, making that dead space usable dead space.
Yeah. Right. So anyway, we've discussed that a little bit. I need to call Department of Environmental Conservation just to make sure that we're what they're always. I think they're the people who do the regulation on that, or would approve any if there are any grant funds they'd know about it, because they want to manage runoff into streams and stuff. So I'm just going to make sure that whatever we have planned is going to make them happy. But I'd like to, anyway, I'm trying to get that something for you guys to consider this year, and if you want to, you know, punt to next year and see if we can find some grant funds to build something, we can try that too. But I'd like to have something for you guys to consider before it gets too cold here.
Well, I think it's probably something we should work on, and then see that put in the budget there. And then if we do get grant funds, and good. If we can't, maybe we just go ahead and do it.
Okay. And other than that, you've been doing, you know, a
Yeah,
lot
in
of
my travels, I'm always looking at town garages now in my travels, and I've seen a few different styles where it could be the economy with like one of those greenhouse dome clear spans over some waste blocks you purchase at you know, Harrison's for not much money really, and you just pour a slab down. That'd be an option, or like Matt was saying, build knee walls, and then some A-frame rafters and some steel roof. There's a few different ones I've seen around. We don't need a huge one. It doesn't need to be any bigger than what it is now. Just a little bit taller and wider. Yeah, just by a little bit. The length is good.
If we were to purchase all our salt at the beginning of the year for the whole season, would that save us anything? If we had a bigger salt shed?
It might, a lot of times, like right now, I mean, I try to order it on dry days because we have to bucket it in there. And you can't dump it in there by the truck and, yeah, it would be kinda cool.
But usually we buy that on a contracted price.
Yeah.
And they just deliver it a load at a
They
time.
do, yeah,
But the same thing.
Yeah,
Rain.
yeah, if you could get.
3 loads,
like they do with all the, like they do with all the state garages, they load them right up and, you know.
Or if we knew we could get 2 loads at a time, or
Yeah.
2 loads and then
Yeah,
right off and then, you know, a 3rd load or I don't remember how many you get, but just,
yeah.
if that was a way for us
Like I usually order 5 loads from the start in November, as soon as the contract's signed.
Yeah.
But you know, on a dry spell,
Yeah.
and we can put 5 loads in there, for starters.
Yeah.
And then I kinda it's obviously easier with that one, you know, pulling the salt out of the front of it and traveling to the back of it. So,
Yeah, yeah.
cause it's so narrow, then I usually try to keep it, stocked up.
So if we designed it for 5, we got 4, it'd be good.
Yeah.
You know, where you had almost a load in
Yeah.
there or something like that, or designed it for 4, you kept 3 or something like that, yeah.
And usually their, Barrett's is, you know, they're not here like the next day, but say if you order like, you know, I ordered like three loads before, and they'll bring you one up right off, and then there'll be a 3 or 4 day delay before you get the rest of it. But, we've never come close to running out.
Yes.
We're about right on schedule with chloride as well. From previous years, it's like usually right around 18,000 gallons, and that's what we purchased. And we have a tank. We have 5,000 gallons left for some gradients coming up in the future. Here. With all the wet weather we've had, some of their roads, the more traveled ones, have been some nice levels in them. But we went up there on Duffy last Thursday and did some patching with some black rock. Works pretty good when it's wet. So it's better than grading the whole road, which really didn't need to be. There's only a few in there.
That black rock hold the chloride well, or? Is that...
Yeah, it does. The traffic kind of crumbles it. It's like a 7/8 rock, but with fines in it, but the traffic crumbles it down to a powder almost. And then once you spray the chloride, it hardens the concrete. You definitely need to let it rain a few days and soften the road up before you attempt to grade it with that grader.
Yeah, they're doing all the shoulders on each shoulder.
Yeah.
And,
We put like 6 loads. I started with, I did some black rock around and down there because it looks a little nicer and it packs harder. And then up on the down East Sheldon where I really wasn't any driveways around. I went back to gravel just because it's closer and a little cheaper.
Yeah.
Our gravel prices and sand prices went up $1 a yard this year. At our place to get it through leaches up in Berkshire, so I don't think we really need a whole lot of sand. I'll probably haul some in just for the fun of it. Maybe here, once get the guys used to driving the trucks or whatever, they can work on that on the hot days and whatnot.
So before Mike Johnson left, he got all the grants and aid paperwork ready for us to do the culvert work up on Cattell Road. So we're planning to do that in September.
Yeah.
Fall.
Are you gonna do that, or are you gonna send it out to bid?
We'll probably attempt it. If I do need help, it'll just be like with 1 or 2 culverts. There's already been a few that are done up there, so it'll just be a little bit of ditching and the shoulder, and it's already been done on that Cattell Road section, so.
And again, that section of Cattell Road between where the pavement ends at Wood Mahoney's up to The Swamp Road is another area that we, again, this year, most of the rest of the road, the dirt road, I take, like last Friday, I drove around all the dirt roads, and that was the only section that was pretty bad. Altogether, there was a little bit up on Duffy Hill, but Seth said that, you know, we put a lot of stone on that road over the last few years, just that particular section of it. So, looking forward here with the paving that we did this year, hopefully not, unless something changes a lot. I'm not anticipating. There's a few sections of short roads that we're looking at for paving next year, but maybe paving that section might be worthwhile in the long run to save, you know, we're spending money on maintenance every year to put stone on it, put pavement on it, and you don't have to do that for so long. So anyway, it's just a project we're considering for the future, is recommending pave it. And then also there's several new houses going up in that area, so.
Yeah.
And on the Swamp Road too, so.
I know Duffy could use it first, maybe, you know, at least maybe not the whole road, but at least for like St. Pierre Road. There's, you know, that's a through road to Fairfield. Traffic's
Yeah,
pretty-
that section gets bad.
Yeah, it's horrendous, but for some reason we can't ever hold, and that's the way it was, you know, before time really, is that section of Cattell Road, for some reason, it doesn't hold together good. It turns to washboard and the traffic goes too fast apparently.
How far is it from the Enosburg's pavement to the St. Pierre Road?
It's like 2.5 miles. It's a little shot. If we could do like Enosburg did with theirs, they put like one coat on in 1 year, and then they topped it the following year or the year after.
We did on Sweet Hollow Road.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like 2 miles, I think, to St. Pierre Road.
How are all the culverts on that road?
Good. We redid the better half of them. That was what we did with our last grant. Was it last year? Year before, 2022. Yeah, we did the ditches and the culverts on that first section. Then really on the rest of the road, there's really not a whole lot of culverts on it. And the one at the end of the pond is Burns' Pond is plastic, and then there's a box culvert down at the hill, by St. Grace. So basically, it just needs some fabric and some gravel. And we probably could get away with our better back roads grant, but that would cover that part. But as far as pavement goes, that'd probably be on us.
You had some equipment work done too, also.
Yeah, the Western Star, it got idled around too much, spreading chloride, and it got carved up, I think. It didn't want to regen to burn off, so we didn't know this because the truck has been sitting for like 3 weeks now. And we traded it up the other day and it kept shutting off on us before we even got out of the garage. So I called up Valport Transport on 105, and they said like a weird over their laptop, and they hooked up to it. And, I have a scan tool, but it doesn't really tell you much, you know what I mean? And they're like, oh yeah, it needs to be, I need to force it into regen mode. But we had to actually warm the truck up, and it keeps stalling every few minutes. So he was planning on coming back today, and I tried getting in touch with him, but he was out of the garage. So that'll be on the list for surely this week. Like to set up an account there because they're more of the technical guys, more so than they're fairly reasonable.
One of the other things we don't have the dealer that we bought that truck from is no longer in the Western Star business.
Yeah. So now it's like Charlie Boys in Milton. is the only western star dealer left around.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
You had
And
some
that's
other,
with the 2015, I mean, the thing only has like 34,000 miles on it and 3,000 hours.
Yeah, we'll have to get an account set up with them. The local, it's gonna be better than sending it down there if you have to.
Yeah. Plus they do inspections and stuff, and so it's coming up for inspections. I have a couple things, really, they're not in any order or anything, but the planks on Bouchard Bridge could be used to be replaced. Probably wouldn't cost much. I know I'm talking about the cross braces, I'm talking about the, I think they're like 1x8s or 10s lengthwise. There's like 10 of them, so if we get a dozen of them, I think there's like 10, but, so if we do that sometime, then after the new guy starts, plywood and insulation, the backside of the waterhouse building down here, on the south side, the weather's kind of beat it to death, and, it might be good for another year, but, that'd be a little job we can pick away at. The fence at the reservoir used some, attention, just on the top where the barbed wire kind of came out. It's kind of a little sketchy mowing around it. It kind of droops down. I planned on, I have some rusted timber to spray on the truck frames and the boxes where it's really rusted. I was going to paint all the wings and the truck frames. Usually it would have been done by now, but it's kind of been a little delayed. So that's still in the works. Culverts and ditch on Cattell Road. And we checked on the material at the fire department there. One side, the Shawville side was, had fabric and stone, so I think that's pretty well good to go over. But the Borden House Street side of the bank is, that wasn't really that deep. It was only like 4 inches of stone. Unfortunately, there's like a blue water culvert pipe that goes right down through there too as well. So I think you had mentioned saw cutting it, and that would be an option.
Yeah.
I don't know when I'm referring to a plan on paving. It's
yeah, I
probably
haven't
September.
heard back. I said we want to do it in September, and they haven't given me a date yet for it.
But even if it's in October, we could probably just knock that out just like a week before they get here, and then tamp it out.
I walked around and saw you can get it.
Yeah, Hunter said you think you get it good, then you look back.
Yeah.
It may not be perfect, but so we can knock that out. Signs, we put up a few new signs around town that were requested by a few homeowners. There's a new house going up on our driveway cut on Rice Hill around just over the crest of the hill where it made it really bad to pull out, and so we put a one drive there sign there, and hopefully people will see that and take consideration to that.
Have we had much vandalism or stolen signs, or?
Few, not really lately, no. Yeah. You know, Keene Road, High Street,
Yeah.
we replaced, we put up a dead end sign right by the school too, so people wouldn't drive down to, there's a new residence down the end of where the actual poor farm is, and eventually they're gonna build a house up on the hill, but right now they're living in the trailer there. She said there's a lot of traffic comes around, turns around there, so people will see I was like, well, if you put it on, you know, as soon as you drop around the corner, you're kind of committed because there's no other place to turn around other than where the cemetery is. So I put it by the school, and hopefully people will pay attention to it and get that.
I did have one, Wayne Russell called me, and he was concerned about the trucks going past his house on Shawville Road and going over the bridge to the paper mill, because that bridge is at reduced weight. So he thought that he thought it would be a good idea to put similar signs like we have on the other end of Shawville Road. Those say absolutely no trucks, but he thought maybe we just say no semis. We would put those up by Route 78, and
Yeah.
He said the problem is, I think, he thinks trucks get onto that road and they don't know that they'll be overloaded until they get to the bridge.
There's no signs
Yeah.
for weight limit.
There's a weight limit on the end of the travel road. It was, but yeah, that bridge is like 12,000 pounds or something. And it's in way better shape than North Sheldon.
Right.
So,
Wherever their GPS brings them that way.
That's, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, there was a guy that pulled on a Shawville Road and bent over one of our do not enter signs a few weeks ago. And we caught him at 3 o'clock. It was a local guy too, out of Milton or wherever, or the trucking company. So they had to stop 5 o'clock traffic on 105 to pull him out backwards. But
that's the first one in a while.
yeah,
That was pretty common there for,
yeah,
it seemed like it was almost monthly there. So, I mean, to say that's the first one in a while, I think that's a win. It's better than the notch.
It's working.
yeah. Introducing the training with the new guys. You know, it takes time too, so that's what we've been doing.
Yep.
We've been down the sewer player and introducing Hunter to the sampling and whatnot. He seems pretty content with it, confident. And, like he said, if he were just going on vacation for 10 days or better, so we'll take care of it while he's gone. And we've been mowing, or we've been mowing lawns and cemeteries the way the rain keeps coming down. Maybe next year in the future or sometime, maybe we could look at upgrading a lawnmower. Maybe not to like a bigger deck, but just a newer model. I put some wear parts in there every year, but just goes alright. Just,
Could be better.
yeah. Other than that, everything's going smooth.
The state did, the fellows from the Department Agricultural Agency came by again about the herbicide spraying.
Oh,
And, you know, they talked to Seth about it, they talked to me, they haven't made a decision on it, but they kind of made it, got me ready for us to get a fine on that, so, but we have an opportunity to read that as well. I'll probably exercise that. And if we do that, I might ask somebody from the select board to come for that. I don't know if that's going to change anything in the long run, but anyway, they came and introduced themselves, and we had a conversation about what we're planning to do. I'm going to see if any of the other towns are interested in. They do offer training for the certification that's required for that, and so I said, I would see if any of the other towns are interested in doing that. Otherwise, I figured we'd just try to get everybody trained on it at the same time if we can, so that if we want to do stuff like that in the future, we just need to get a permit. As long as we have somebody trained, we can get a permit. And there are some areas in town besides the road signs, but there's mostly having to do with the utility poles that have ivy and stuff growing on them. That we can't get the utility to take care of it. There's some places where that causes some visibility problems. So anyway, so we've had a good discussion with them. We have a plan going forward, but we can kind of make it. Yeah, it might hurt. Put that way.
yeah.
So.
Or we'll just trim the guardrails off from now on. We may have done before, I'm not scared of it.
Yeah, well, we may have to do more trimming anyway, just because there are, there's areas where you can spray and there's areas where you can't, and that's the way it is. So, I don't know if you wanted to have Seth's opinion on that fencing quote there that we got, but if you guys want to consider that.
This is the company that went for a long
I'm fine with it. I mean, they do it all the time. Yeah, it's
The only wrinkle there is that depending on when Hungerford can get here to do it, this guy is, he's gonna have surgery done apparently or something at the end of September. So he said there's a possibility I might have to, I could take it down and they'll pave it, but I might not be available to put it back up again until the spring, which isn't great if we wanted to have a hockey rink over with it, but we could make it work probably. But it's all dependent on when Hungerford can get here to do
Well,
it.
just make sure we're ready for the rest of it.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Figure that, something will work out.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Seth.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So the motion on the fence?
I'll make a motion to accept the fence quote.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Alright, we'll go with that. Alright. This Bridge Street Railway,
Oh, I have.
you got it.
Was that all in executive?
It was not actually, because nobody
checking before we-
was negotiating anymore. So
Just checking.
there's from the town records what I found on the right of way, and I put in bold wherever it talked about width of the. So.
Take it crossing the one of the road.
Just some feet wide. So that's the east side of the bridge, and the other one would be the west side of the
So
bridge.
you're looking for, on this, for the Bridge Street there. You don't want to go through clean water right away, then the basic, pretty round right away.
I said highway layout 3.5 rods wide.
So
That's not the normal.
the thing I have here is one on the east side of the bridge, so on the church side of the bridge. There's two surveys there, but they both begin from a point about 60 feet beyond where the bridge is. So I don't actually have I couldn't find a survey that included exactly where the bridge is, but on the other hand, the town owned both sides of the road on that side of the bridge anyway, because we own Gristmill Park and the Historical Society, so the right of way is kind of, we have right of way, and the town has a right of way, and then it's municipal property anyway. Now, on the west side of the bridge, that is on the way up here, I found a survey from 1888. There ended up being a court case about this survey because there was a dispute between there used to be a blacksmith shop on one side of the road and a broom factory or something on the other side of the road, and the blacksmith complained about how wide because the broom factory, whatever, had been built, and he complained that the road wasn't wide enough. So he had the selectmen go out and survey it. And they said, oh yeah, there's a bit of your building that's in the road. So they made them cut part of the building off. And that's after that, they always called it the beech nut building because it was shaped because they had cut a corner off of it anyway. So then, but that didn't make the blacksmith any happier. He still complained about it. So then they had to resurvey the highway. And anyway, then when they resurveyed it, they laid it out so it took out part of the blacksmith shop. Well, he wasn't happy about that. So I think he actually got the legislator to pass a law that said you could sue a town about this in order for him to sue the town, which is what he did. And then, but the thing is that, so then he sued the town and all the other landowners or something like that. about this, or then the other landowners were involved. So the other landowners in the town should have been on the same page, but instead the town agent basically sided with the blacksmith, even though the town was being sued. And I found a newspaper article all about this. But anyway, the Supreme Court of Vermont threw it all out because they found out that the town had never surveyed it to begin with. So you can't resurvey something that you never surveyed to begin with. So basically, anyway, so the.
As long as they weren't referred.
No, Trudeau, anyway, so that's the case, it's Trudeau versus Sheldon, anyway. But, so, anyway, they threw out the survey, so I think that survey that they allude to there may not be valid, any that I found may not be valid anyway. And I haven't found one to replace it, but the only thing that's important here is that they said 3.5 yard rods wide, so maybe the right of way on that side of the bridge may be slightly wider than the standard. So, and anyway, for the intents and purposes of the town today, I think maybe we'll just ask them for a slightly wider right of way on the west side of the bridge and the standard one on the other side, because I can't find any reason why it's not. It is wider once you get up to the top of the hill by, in front of Kim Frames. It's 90 feet up there, and that's documented in that survey there. But that's nowhere near where the bridge is going, so.
Yeah. Alright, so you'll deal with this guy.
I can do that, yeah. So I'll send him a copy of what I've got. Right. Anyway, I just hadn't taken the time to go dig all those surveys up yet, and I thought we should do that just in case we found out. Well, I happen to just know because of my newspaper hobby that case had happened. So, so that's why I was interested. Anyway, so I'll get in touch with them about it.
Selectboard Water Commissioner meeting from June 24th of 2024, held here at the town office.
It should be July 8th. Did I give you the wrong minutes? I probably did.
I did the 24th too.
Oh, oops. Hold on, can I just see? I might have just written the date wrong.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, everything else is correct except for the date. Sorry about that. Yeah, sorry
Alright,
about
so
that.
I'll correct that.
Not at the top, right there.
Alright, in attendance, on the select board of South Humberford, Nick Norris, Richard Piasny, and Greg Stebbins. Others were Heather Creevy, Tina Wamos, Heidi Gerke, Matt Stebbins, town administrator, and Gary Vasey from Northwest Access TV. 7:45, Seth called the meeting to order and read the agenda. Heather asked if the town has any plans to expand the sewer system in Sheldon Springs. She and her sisters are considering a housing development behind the Sheldon Mini Mart. The town has engineered plans for a sewer extension project, but would not extend as far as potential development. The existing sewer may also need repairs. The board is awaiting results from recent camera inspection before moving forward. 8:15, Nick made a motion and seconded by Rick to enter executive session to interview an applicant for an open highway position. Motion carried. 9:08, Nick made a motion seconded by Rick to exit executive session, which passed. The board interviewed one candidate for the highway position. An offer was made and accepted. The board also discussed personnel policies and deliberated on the proposed policing contract. 9:10, the board took up the Franklin County Sheriff's Office proposal for policing services. The contract is for 1 year beginning July 1st, 2024 was 16 hours per week of coverage. The total cost not to exceed $75,739.96. Seth called for a vote on the contract, which was not approved. At 9:11, the board took up revised quotes for paving the fire department rear parking lot and front garage door openings. The contractor agreed with the board's proposal to sock up the existing parking lot, allowing the extension to be machine paved. Seth called for a vote and the quotes were approved. 9:14, Matt gave the town administrator's report. Camera inspection and jetting was done on school and Mill Street sewer. Camera could not pass through a section of old pipe between the post office and the rail trail. Boarding House Street will be inspected later this year. Pike Industries has completed all the paving except Church Street, which they are scheduled to complete on July 16th. V-Trans has hired a contractor to replace culverts on the eastern portion of 105 in Sheldon. Matt will ask them about possibly changing the town's culvert at the Shawville Road intersection. Matt asked the board to revisit their decision to have the Historical Society submit invoices to the town clerk be paid out of the ARPA funds per an appropriation approved in March. The clerk said it may be simpler for both the town and the Historical Society to issue the appropriation in one transfer, as insurance and other documentation would be required to pay out invoices. Seth suggested issuing a singular transfer not to exceed the amount approved in March, plus any expenses already paid by the town. Seth called the vote and all were in favor of the proposal. Matt is planning a comprehensive rewrite of the personnel policy by September. He will be meeting with the town's auditing firm, R.H.R. Smith, on July 9th. Matt also spoke with Bill Sheets, Swanton Village Manager, about Swanton's water line for Fairfield Pond. They're planning to install a valve and turn the system off by next July 1st, but would be willing to turn over control to any municipality or association, provided Swanton is legally indemnified from any future liability. Matt will follow up with Ron Macy on his discussions with the Rowells and the Agency of Ag. 9:41, Seth read the minutes from the June 24th meeting. Rick moved and seconded by Greg to approve the minutes as read. The motion carried. 9:51, Nick made a motion, seconded by Greg, to adjourn the meeting. Motion carried. Next regular meeting is July 22nd at 7:30. Take a motion to accept these minutes as read.
I'll make a motion.
Second one, Ryan.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
How did should we go to the administrator's report? I was asked a question about this July 9th meeting.
With the auditor?
Yeah.
Yes,
Is that
okay,
part of-
yep.
Is that part of your
Yes,
administrator's
it is,
report?
yep. Number one in here. So yes, I called, talked to John Boulet, who was the audit manager on our audit last year, but he's not gonna, I don't think he's scheduled to do our audit next year, but anyway, I told him our town's concerns about just making sure that we're publishing the right information in the town report ahead of the town meeting. And he said that they've undergone a lot of change in their company in the last year. They almost doubled their staff. They went from 30 people to almost 60, I guess. And he said that a lot of that's in response to being to meeting those demands for reporting. So I kind of outlined it. He said it would be. We discussed the fact that we're a calendar year town instead of a fiscal year. And that does make a challenge for them to turn around those numbers from the end of December to the beginning of, well, we kind of need them by the beginning of February to put them in the report on time. But he said that the plan they have for this year is to do what they did a couple of years ago and send people down to be in-house and be here for a couple of days to pull numbers and have most of the audit work done that way, and then they'll be able to go back to the firm and I said what we really require, we don't need the full audit done by the beginning of February, but sometime early in February, if we can get a copy of the short report that they sent us 2 years ago with those financial statements, which are audited statements. It's just not the full report that they prepare. I said if we can get those by early in February in order to publish them, we'll be happy with that. And he said also they should, so he said that should be doable with even with the timetable that we have. And I said, he said that, and then sometime after that you would get the full audit report, including the letter to you guys about financial controls. And he said that they haven't been doing this, but they should also reach out to you at that time to see if you want to talk to them about the results of the audit, be available for a discussion with you guys about the results of that audit. So we have it scheduled. It's essentially scheduled, as far as I know, that they'll be here the first week or so of January to work on that audit. So it sounds like we're starting on the right foot with them in terms of, there's a plan for them to be here and do that. So he's going to follow up with me soon, I think, about that. We had, excuse me, last Wednesday, we'll come back to the policing committee in a minute, but I'll just tell you that I went to the meeting on 2 Thursdays ago. As I said to Nick, that was an open session now because none of the towns were involved in any negotiations anymore. So most of the Enosburg board was there. There was a member, the Richford board had a member there. I don't think Berkshire had a select board member there, but it seemed like they were still interested somewhat. And a lot of the other local legislative officials were there, including Senator Norris and Representative Oliver were both there. So there was kind of a general discussion about each town's experience with the sheriff this year. I tried to articulate what I thought happened here. And then generally, it was a now what do we do situation, and Senator Norris advised, his thought was that some sort of advisory only, i.e. doesn't have a budget, doesn't make decisions, just studies the question. Committee should be formed, and with each town having some representation on that, and the idea would be to study what resources and assets each town has, what they're willing to commit in terms of budget, what they're looking for in their coverage. I know that Sheldon isn't looking for as much as Enosburg or Richford was, but and then they would also be trying to look. There was a broad discussion about where would they be looking for models of how to do regional policing, or what alternatives they'd be considering. There are Larry Jarvis, who's on the board in Eastburg, I think he was down in New Hampshire at the time, and he said, all these little towns down here seem to have police departments, and I don't know how they do it, but we should find out. So anyway, the idea would be to look at other rural kind of areas in other parts of the country and and see what they do and try to get some numbers in terms of how much it would cost to do things. And it might start out small, if towns might have to accept less coverage than we're looking for in the short term, or I mean, the other thing is it's obviously going to take some time to do this. And I brought up that, there may be alternatives nearby in terms of coverage in the shorter term. If, let's say Swanton somehow finds, more capacity, or the exclusive contract in St. Albans, doesn't last longer than a year, then there could be other alternatives in the future. So anyway, they'd be considering all of those things. So anyway, kind of a lot of talk, but in general, everybody, that was the consensus, I think, was to form this advisory committee. I tried to ask that there be kind of a deadline given to this, or a timeline given, but everybody seemed to think we should get the committee together first, and then they can decide on how long they think they need to do that. So, last Wednesday, we had a grievance hearing for the town, for this year's grand list. We only had one person come to grieve, but there were several of the notices that went out got sent back, because I think they had like wrong zip codes or stuff like that. So there's maybe an opportunity for some other people to grieve in the future. And we have the person who came to grieve. We have Justin and I will be going to their property on this Wednesday to look at it. Their particular issue had to do with they had some sort of issue when they built a new structure, but there was a wetlands issue where somehow they were allowed to build this structure, but it's tied to the septic that they originally had on the other existing structure or something like that. And so they had it's not really truly a separate house, I guess, because these are connected sort of. So anyway, we're gonna go investigate that on Wednesday. Assuming that the other grievances go through, one of your meetings in August, I think we would be in line to consider setting the tax rate. I guess I'll see how the rest of that process goes. Also in August, the first meeting in August is the 12th. That would be the earliest time for you guys to consider the town plan that was adopted, or that was passed on to you from the planning commission. Greta Brunswick from NRPC was willing to give a presentation on that town plan, and also I think I read through the town plan. There's a few factual things I would take issue, but generally speaking, I didn't have any substantive issue with it personally. But the two things that it proposes that I think are the biggest changes is, one, there's a whole energy plan part of it that was not part of the town plan before. So that's like a whole appendix at the end of it. And then the other thing is that, as I mentioned before, there's a proposal to separate the zoning distinction between Sheldon Springs and Sheldon Village. So the Sheldon Springs becoming its own zoning district. And then in line with the town plan, the downstream, that would be consider the adoption of new zoning regulations that would be based on the bylaw modernization project that was done, that we were joined in with a bunch of other towns, with St. Albans being the lead town on that, I think. Anyway, so I have a copy of the zoning regulations that study proposed. So that would limit, right now I think our village zoning has half-acre lots, and it's the same in Sheldon, in the creek as well as in the springs. That proposal, the bylaw modernization project proposal would be to switch the springs to be 1/5 acre lots. So, and have different setbacks to meet that size of lot. And the other issue that would come up because Sheldon Springs does have a sewer, does have wastewater. I mentioned to you guys before that there'll be a decision to make down the road about the relationship between the zoning and the sewer service area. Do you want to have it so that the sewer service area is limited to where there is zoning now, where the village district is now? Or is it going to be that if the sewer is allowed to expand in the future, would the zoning follow with the sewer system as it's added onto? But it's sort of a moot point for right now because all of the areas that we're considering adding the sewer to now would be included in the zoning that they're proposing anyway. Anyway, so she's offered to give a presentation on that at the next meeting, so I figured we would take them up on that. I apologize, I didn't realize that, I didn't read the fine print on it, so there has to be 30 days between when the planning commission hands off the town plan to when the select board can approve it, but you can't, the select board can make its own changes to it before the public hearing, but they have to be made 15 days before the public hearing. So if the public hearing's on the 12th, that means that you guys would probably have to make changes in the next 5 days or something like that in order, if you wanted to make changes to the plan ahead of that hearing. So I should have given you a draft of it at the last meeting, and I apologize for not doing that. So I don't know if you guys want to consider, the problem is that I think the whole planning process is supposed to happen in a certain time period, so I don't know if delaying it until the select board's review until later in August, we could do that, but I'm not sure if that will fit into the.
Can you change the public meeting part?
Oh, I could, yes, it hasn't been warned yet, because we're not 15 days out. So if you want to take an initial look at it on the 12th, and then I could have the public hearing on the 26th or whatever that would be, we could also do that if you think that's a better idea. Right. Okay. All right. All right. I'll change that to the 26th. And I think maybe it would still be better to have them come on the 12th.
Yeah.
All right, have them come on the 12th and we'll do that.
Yeah, they can kind of explain it,
Yeah.
and then we can make a decision.
Right, okay. All right, and the only other thing I talked with Seth a bit and I talked to Steve about it also, but the school land parcel, so when I was cleaning up in the zoning office, I found a map of the subdivision that was planned when they did the rec fields back in 1986, and I actually found that there is a copy of that map in the vault, but it's not recorded in the index. So we have a question, like Kim and I were talking about that today, because she didn't find it when she was looking for this, and that's because it's not in the index. It's in the map, it's in the hanging, the Mylars, but there's sort of a bag that has all of the school land, all of the surveys that the mill did when they were subdividing it to give it to the town, and there was the mill later gave a little strip along the fence. I think there was a little bit more land added to it later. Anyway, so we have a question about whether this actually was ever recorded in the town records, because there's, again, still no deed that we found justifying this, because in the map shows a subdivision, the one that we've always talked about, where the fields are divided off from the school building, and then a separate parcel is left out by the by 105 that's also retained by the town, and on one copy of the map, I see that it's labeled like for the library or something like that. So these are the stories that we've always gotten about it. So anyway, but what it says on the map is that the rec fields are, it says, it was done by Peter Cross for Buck and Pierce, so, but it says on there that the ball fields, it says like lands to be deeded to the Town of Sheldon Recreational Commission. So it doesn't make any sense to me why the town would sell its own land to a committee of people from the town that doesn't really, I don't think we even have a recreation commission anymore, so I don't understand what was, it makes clear on.
That had to do something to do with that grant, I got to do that work.
Possibly, I don't know, but.
Needed to be used for recreation, so.
Yeah, but the rest of.
Form a committee in order to accept the grant money?
Yeah, I have no idea, yeah, because I think it was a project, the principal of the school at the time was involved in that as well, and I think that at a certain point they figured out, oh, the land doesn't belong to the school, it belongs to the town, so the town has to do this.
Yeah.
And then they did it, because the rest of this map makes it clear that the rest of the parcel belongs to the town. So around the schools is property of the town of Sheldon. So anyway, it's a quite open question whether this subdivision was ever recorded properly, because again, there's no deed tied to it really. That
Because there's no deed to the original.
Right.
There's no deed. Yeah, there's no deed actually from the mill to the.
Yes, there's a deed from the mill to the town, yes. Okay. Yeah, it's just that there's not, but it goes from the mill to the town, it doesn't involve the school district at all. So, the land that the school's on belongs to the town. And even if they had subdivided it when they did the rec fields, it still would belong to the town under this. But I think somehow it got thought out that, oh, they subdivided. I think somewhere, someone thought they subdivided off the rec field, that part belongs to the town and the rest belongs to the school, but that never happened. And now, as I say, as it's recorded in the grand list, everything there belongs to the school district. On the grand, it's all exempt, but on the grand list it says it all belongs to the school, which isn't correct. So, anyway, I suppose if the subdivision ever was recorded, even if there's no deed with it, technically speaking, if you wanted to cede, just a part of the land to the school, you could do that according to the lines laid out on the subdivision because it's already been engineered. But I don't think that's what you want to do. But anyway, that's the latest thing I found. But we probably need to make I haven't talked to anyone from the school lately. I think Vern reached out to Seth about it, but I haven't talked to them lately about that project, but I guess it just comes around to the same thing as like what interest does the town have in holding on to that property, maintaining it, and like I said, if we did, we'd have to have some agreement with the school about using it because the school's use of the land is going to trump any other thing that's going to happen there. So anyway, I did find that subdivision, that's all I wanted to say. Proposed subdivision, I don't know if it ever happened or not, so. Anyway, I believe that is, I think I mentioned everything else that I was going to talk about when Seth was here, so. Otherwise, like I said, hopefully we'll have that new employee by the start of next week. Doing well, so far, Justin's, he's anxious to get the grievance process over with because he's kind of already looking ahead to the things that he wants to clean up with some parcel things that are not quite the way they were supposed to be. And Danielle's, been pretty busy since she got here. Actually, we've had a few permits, and we've had, we're working well together on things. So, from a staffing point of view, I feel like we're doing well. So, One request I have is that Hubert, I know, is planning to take the first week or 10 days of August off. I would like to take a unpaid leave of absence the first week of August. That would be acceptable. I'd still be here for the meeting on the 12th, but it would be the week before that meeting. I wouldn't be here, but I could still be available by email or okay, that's all for me. Unless you have any questions.
Good. You'll deal with this letter of support for Frank County Field Days. Anything else we need to deal with tonight?
I think we need to actually take a vote to appoint our public safety advisory people.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Okay.
So that we can get on to the business.
Do you have interested people to be on that committee?
We do.
Alright. Do you have some nominees on?
I do. Senator Robert Norris and Representative Tom Oliver.
Okay.
Second.
Alright, all in favor of Robert Norris and Tom Oliver?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay. I think the plan is to have that committee get together as soon as possible, around by the 1st of August, I think was the idea, but we'll see what everybody can do.
You've got contact numbers for those guys?
Yes,
Alright. Anything else we need to deal with tonight?
I don't know what you want to do on the field days letter.
Yeah, okay, well, I'll give you guys a rundown. Peter Parent stopped the other day and said that they are looking at, things have changed down there, I guess, and they think they have a chance of purchasing the existing site they're on.
The whole right side?
Where there's
Oh, really?
and so they're looking for support, local support to go to the state with. So I don't know, they've got a letter written up here where they said you can write your own letter or whatever, but they're looking at.
Just support the money.
Right, yeah, no financial, they're just looking for a letter of support right now to go to the state with.
I'm fine with that.
Second.
Alright,
So we can just add on to theirs or say Sheldon supports them, or I don't think we need to.
Yeah, I can look at it and if,
do something on town letterhead or something.
Sure, okay, that's fine.
And then you can either just copy their same wording or whatever. And
yeah. Okay.
let me know when I can sign it.
Okay. Okay.
Alright.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, second. Accept that motion, and all in favor?
Aye.